Hi guys, welcome to AndroGuider. So in this video we will be checking out ZenonHD. This ROM is based on the latest version of Android, which is Nougat 7.1.2. The ROM packs in the May 5 2017 security patch as well, and single tapping on the security patch level will open up the Android security bulletin. The build date of the ROM is 28th of May, and the ROM wasn't booting up with the stock kernel for the Redmi Note 3. This is an official build, by the way, but the ROM wasn't booting up with the stock kernel, so I had to go ahead and flash a custom kernel to get the ROM to boot up. So I can't tell you about the SE Linux status of the stock kernel. Anyway, we do have a configuration for tweaking the SE Linux status. You can change the SE Linux mode using this SE Linux switch. By just tapping on this switch, you can change it to permissive or vice versa. Then we have got some carrier label settings. You can enable or disable the carrier label. You can tweak its location, lock screen, status bar, or both of them. uh, then you can also configure the carrier label text. You can edit its font, a bunch of options in here. You can customize the font size, its color, and then if you want to hide the carrier label when there are a certain number of notifications, you can do that too. Moving on, we have got the suspend actions option. So these settings will be triggered when the screen goes off. So if you want to switch to 2G, disable mobile data, disable GPS. So these are just a bunch of battery saving tweaks which are obviously intended for increasing your battery life. By disabling mobile data, I think you will be the background activities of social applications like Facebook, Twitter, etc. They can be restricted if you aren't using Wi-Fi as well. So again, you can use these settings as per your choice, and then you can also configure the screen off and the screen on action delays. Then we have got the quick unlock caution. So if you want to the uh, unlock automatically when the correct pin or password is entered, you can enable this option. Then fingerprint authentication vibration, then fingerprint unlock after reboot. If you don't want to uh, and if you just don't want your if you just want your device to be unlocked just by using the fingerprint, and then you don't have to go to the next step of authorization, that is entering your pattern lock or your pin lock, whichever one you are using. So if you just want to unlock your device using your fingerprint after reboot, you can enable this option. Then you can configure the maximum failed attempts for the fingerprint. Again, I haven't actually seen these settings in many rooms lately. This one I haven't seen in particular. And well, I have seen fingerprint authentication vibration unlock after reboot, but actually I'm seeing the maximum fail attempts for the first time. Then hide the status bar, media cover art, clock widget, date widget. You can configure a bunch of these settings. Then emergency button, alarm text, charging info. So if you want to hide any of these on the lock screen, you can do that. Then you have got the font options for the lock font. Again, a lot of options. Then similarly, you can configure the font for the date. Again, similar options. Then you can tweak the font size individually for both the clock and date. Then we have got the three finger gesture for taking a screenshot. You can also show the memory bar in the recent app section. Then we also have the clear all button. We have the 6 location pack to tweak the location of the clear all button as well. Then you can customize the number of quick setting tiles. The number of rows and columns in both the portrait as well as the landscape mode. Currently we have got a 3 by 3 grid. You can tweak that, maybe okay, 4 by 4. I think it should have actually done that, or maybe just a reboot will fix that. uh okay, there you can see the changes now. Or actually, in fact, I had increased the number of rows. It should have been the columns. We only have I think on I'll just go back to the stock, and we have only have about 9 fixating tiles, so it didn't make any sense to add on the fourth row. Then if you want to show or hide the quick setting labels, you can currently see the labels. Now when I disable them, uh, well, actually these are the labels which we are talking about. They should have gotten hidden. Let's see again. I don't know. um, well, there you can see actually, so again, when I will enable it, it won't work. So there are minor bugs. It's rather possible that maybe a system UI restart or a reboot will fix this. But again, these are just some minor bugs in the ROM. Again, maybe they will be fixed in the future builds. And a workaround for that is you can change the column number, and then you can get this to work. Then if you want to have the advanced quick settings easy toggle, currently if you want, you will when you just tap on the Wi-Fi option, you will be taken to that advanced layout. If you don't want that option to be triggered, and if you just want to simply toggle on and off Wi-Fi using using a simple tap, then you can enable this option. Then we have got the dashboard column settings. These are your options for settings. If you want to suggestions, conditions, summaries, you can tweak all that stuff. Moving on, we have the button settings. So if you want to enable the on-screen navigation bars, you can do that using this switch. Then nav bar animation. If you want to have these sorts of animations, then you can actually enable this option. Uh, then we also have the one-handed mode, and if you prefer to have prefer to use your hardware keys, then you can configure the illumination timeout for your hardware keys. Then we also have left-handed mode, show arrow keys while typing, buttons and layout. Again, I had covered up this on how you can use this navigation bar editor in detail in my review of Lineage OS. I will have that linked down below in the description box in case you guys want to check that out as well. Then we have got the power menu settings, restart menu, screenshot, sound panel. So yeah, ample number of options in here, and this is how the power menu looks like. Then you can use the power button to cut the call, long press the power button for the torch. And then we have some hardware key settings. I will just disable the navigation bar for a moment so that we can check out these settings as well. You can use it to answer the call. Long press will employ search the assistant, and then we have got a bunch of options in here. So we do get single-handed mode as well, if you just want to try that out. Okay, there we go. So you can see the single-handed mode is actually working fine. uh, yeah. Then double tap action, you can tweak all that stuff for the recents and the home button. We don't have settings for the back key, but that's fine. Then you can tweak the volume blocker settings, wake device, answer call. uh, then we have got music playback as well, control the ringtone volume instead of the media volume. Then keyboard cursor control is in there as well, deorient the volume keys when the device is rotated and all that stuff. I will enable the on-screen navigation bar, and then we have got the status bar settings. We have got quick pull down, traffic indicators. If you want to show the data rate exchanges, then you can show outgoing, incoming, or both of them. Display unit, you can tweak the update interval, auto hide the network traffic indicators, or just if you want to hide the arrows, you can tweak that, and the inactivity threshold as well. Then super user indicator, if you want to enable or disable that, that's up to you. Notification count. Then we have got a bunch of system icons, which you can enable or disable in the status bar. Just for an example, check off the Wi-Fi icon, it gets hidden. You enable it and it will reappear. And show hours, minutes, and seconds. Well, you can see that that option works. uh, it This option doesn't work in some rooms because they have got the settings for showing the seconds in the clock somewhere else, in maybe in some other menu. But yeah, this option works from here, so that's great to see. Or you can entirely hide the clock, that's your choice. You also have an option for headset and auto rotate screen. Then you can tweak the position of the clock, right, center, or left. You can show the AM/PM style if you want to, and then we have got a bunch of settings for that. Small, normal, date. You can similarly do that for the date as well. Date style, date formats, all that stuff. Then bunch of battery icons, portrait, landscape, circle, solid. If you just want to show the text or hide it, battery percentage inside the icon or next to the icon. Battery bar settings, you can configure the location of the battery bar, and we only have one option in here, which is at top of the status bar. Then you can tweak the battery bar color, and we have got a nice color picker in here. You can choose different colors from here, and then you can tweak its shade as well. Or if you want to enter a particular hex code, then you can do that. And the stock keyboard. It doesn't support gesture typing by default. This option is there in some rooms, so you will but you will get this functionality of gesture typing in the AOSP keyboard after you have flashed a gapps package. I'm currently running the room pure stock, as it came. uh, then you can configure the battery back color, charging color, low color, and then if you want to use a gradient color, which will be a mix of both the low level color and the high level color, then you can do that. You can tweak the alignment, and then we have the three set. Regular one left, that's aligned to the left, center mirrored, and this is the reversed one. Then battery bar thickness, you can do that. You can tweak the battery bar thickness 1 2 or 3 or 4 dps. Then charging animation, if you want to have that enabled, you can do that. uh, Brightness slider or auto brightness, brightness control, again if you want to have all those settings, this is the auto brightness icon. If you want to have all that stuff enabled, you can do that. Display settings, brightness level, adaptive brightness, live display, then rotation settings, rotate lock screen, 180 degrees rotation, all that is present in here. Ambient display, uh, well, we also have all the settings for that. You can tweak everything. Then we also get I don't know, we have got ambient display settings two times, maybe, I don't know. Wake screen, when you receive the notification, show the battery status indicator during pulse, notification inversion. I think actually, okay, so basically these are the settings when ambient display should be triggered, and those are miscellaneous settings for ambient display fade in and fade out timeouts. Okay, so you can obviously tweak all the stuff as per your choice. Then we have got double tap to sleep on the lock screen is in here, wake on plug, expanded desktop cast, and then you can configure all the font density options. Actually, they have segregated all these options into one hood. So again, it's just great to see that these are just small categorizations which they have done, which actually enriches your overall experience of using the ROM. Okay, moving on. Then yeah, just another thing, you can actually customize the smallest width attribute to configure your device's DPI. Then notifications, nothing new in here. Sound settings, volume steps is present at the top. Then you can link or unlink the notification and ringtone volumes. Vibration for calls is also there. Launch music player when the headsets are connected, if you want to enable that. Screenshot sound is in here. Then under other sounds, these are the options which we have. Charging sound, if you want to check that out as well, then you can enable the vibration and configure the notification sound. um, Apps, we'll be taking a look at that later on. Battery settings, you can you configure the profile, performance profile balanced. If you want to have that extreme power save, you can also enable that. Enable the power saver automatically. The maximum percentage is 25%, and automatic optimization and all that stuff. You can just look into all that. And then battery optimization, nothing new in here as well. Okay, then yeah. uh, okay, gestures, jump to camera, double tap to sleep, all that stuff is in there. And another thing which I always mention in my Nougat based ROM reviews is that make sure that you fill up this emergency information section, which is located under the users option. So the emergency information can be accessed even on a secure lock screen. So if you have a lock screen with a pin lock or a pattern lock, anything like that, then this emergency information can be accessed even then. So god forbid, if you ever run into any accident, then the person who picks up your phone, they will be able to view all your medical information, which you can key in here. And under contacts, they would be able to contact your loved ones using that. So just make sure that you have this information filled in. um, then under security settings, unknown sources is checked in by default. And here you can enter the lock screen message. Then we have got the bottom lock screen shortcuts here. Music visualizer, if you want to show the weather. Then I didn't actually find the settings for the weather. Maybe we'll just take a look at that later on. Then pattern lock, again, we can actually configure the grid size 3 by 3, 4 by 4, 5 by 5, or 6 by 6. So again, it's great to see that option. Yeah, actually that's all what we have in here. And if I will just, and that, okay, that launched the camera instead. Okay, but actually I can't see the weather, and I actually didn't find the uh, settings for configuring the weather as well. Again, you'll just take a look at that later on. um Anyways, moving on. Privacy settings. Privacy guard is in there, and protected apps. I will have a tutorial link down below for privacy guard if you want to learn more on how to use privacy guard for saving for as a tool for saving battery life, and for tweaking permissions. You can just refer to that. Then we have got system profiles. You can in fact configure the settings for all the profiles. When the profile will be triggered, if it gets disconnected to a Wi-Fi, or it gets connected to a particular Wi-Fi or Bluetooth device. And you can tweak all that. And what all settings do you need to change? So that's pretty much like tasker itself. So again, I haven't in particular covered up profiles in detail. So volume overrides, you can tweak a bunch of settings in here. In So you can tweak a bunch of settings in the profile section. um, and also you can create new profiles. I guess that's pretty obvious. Then Moving on, in the end, we have got the developer options. Advanced restart is present in here. Development tools, if you want to use them for advanced tweaking, you can do that. OEM unlocking is checked in by default. Demo mode is present in here. Android debugging. So Android debugging is enabled by default, and this option pretty much comes in handy when you are restoring your apps using Titanium backup, or if you are flashing some custom ROM or recovery using ADB. So yeah, it's great to see that option enabled by default. So and from here in you can also edit the device host name, local terminal if you want to have that enabled. Then mock location app, you can choose that from here. And if ZenonHD does support Substratum, so if you plan to run uh, so if you are using a test build of Substratum, then just ensure that you have got this force authorize every theme option enabled. um, then we have the animation settings, GPU settings. Nothing new in here. And then you can obviously, if you want to save up on your internal storage and utilize your external SD card for storing the data of your apps, then you can enable this option. And then in the end we have got the kill app back button, and you can also configure the long press timeout. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up the settings menu. Then Now we'll take a quick look at the apps. We do get add away as the ad blocker. So okay, you need to give it root access. And then by the way, we do have Magisk in here, and Magisk got recently removed from the Play Store for some reasons which the developer described. I think they were related because Google has recently started employing some serious measures for uh, for combating malicious apps, which they think. And because Magisk has a sort of in market has some sort of the reason why Google removed Magisk from the Play Store, Magisk Manager from the Play Store, was that Magisk had that online repository from wherein you could download the Magisk modules. Google doesn't actually allow that those kind of activities in the apps, so that's why Magisk was taken down. Anyway, the developer has planned to make Magisk Manager available apart from the Play Store. So you won't be able to find Magisk Manager any longer on the Play Store. It would be available separately. And if you ever want to update the app, then either you will have to use any APK client, such as maybe there are a lot of apps which allow you to update APKs. Again, I don't remember. Maybe APK, APK Pure is actually related to the Google Play Store. Either you will have to manually check the XDA thread for updates to Magisk Manager, or maybe I think XDA Labs does allow you to do that. So you can check out all these stuff if you want to be notified about update to Magisk Manager, but you won't be receiving updates to Magisk Manager from the Play Store anymore. Then we also do get audio effects, jelly browser. Again, just a quick look at the options which you have in here. They have lineages have improved jelly browser. They had added jelly browser recently. And they have improved jelly browser over time. However, I did find a few issues with it, which I'll just be talking about. Then you can, view new tab, incognito tab, reload the web page, favorites, share, history, add shortcuts, switch to desktop site. They have improved the desktop site interface actually pretty well. Then you can tweak the search engine, bunch of options in here, homepage, advanced share options, look lock, with this will prevent other apps from reading the browser's content. Enable or disable JavaScript, location, cookies, clear cookies. So, basic options. The problem which where I had actually was, actually I'll just load up my site, load up AndroGuider. This not just the issue with the any site. This is the issue with the uh, every site. No matter what you are using. This problem has been there. Okay, now you can scroll down. Now when I just try to scroll up, okay, I don't know, it's working fine now. Maybe I will just pull out something else. Maybe let's go to Google and just check out something. Actually I was reading some articles on I don't know what. Maybe I'll pull them out from the history. I'll just pause the video for a bit, and I'll just try and pull out something. Well, okay, so I was able to actually restore the issue. So Baywatch, this was released recently. Um, so the problem with the, again, I'll just reload the page. Okay, so here we go. Now when I'm just trying to scroll down the page, I can scroll down, but if I just want to go up, actually that it doesn't allow me to go up. Instead, it this employs the swipe down to refresh option, and it will then reload the page. So basically I can scroll down, but I can't scroll up because it then tries to enable that swipe to restore, swipe down to refresh. And I didn't find that great feature. I was reading across a few reviews, but there are some minor bugs which I think will be polished and addressed in the future. But yeah, this was the one bug which I came across. Then we have got a calculator, calendar, camera application. We have got Snapdragon camera, um, and then clock files, decent gallery application. Again, the one which you find in Lineage OS. I will just again quickly cover up what you can expect from the gallery application. uh, yeah, so a bunch of options in here. So you can slideshow, set picture as details, you can do all that stuff. You can also edit the image, if you want to. You have got a bunch of filter settings. You can add on frames if you want to, and then you can also crop the image, straighten it or rotate it. um, then you can tweak the exposure values. So decent amount of settings in here, and then back to original or export. You can tweak all that. And this is the slideshow option, and using this you can just check all everything, set for what you want to delete, share, etc, etc, albums. And you can also view videos, all that stuff. uh, so moving on, then we have got kernel auditor for editing the kernel settings. um, then okay, just move on. um yeah, mi explorer, again, it's a really very nice file explorer which we have in. And in fact, it's finally great to see at some ROM including mi explorer as the inbuilt file explorer. So yeah, it's a bit of a great file explorer. You will actually have to explore within the app. So mi explorer, it does allow even you to, it allows you to download add-ons for adding on further functionalities. You can just tap on this add option, and it will take you to all this signer, archiving, a bunch of options in here. So this is a pretty advanced file manager, not like your usual ones. It allows you to, there is an inbuilt image viewer. Also there are video and inbuilt video player, I guess, as well. And you can do perform a bunch of tasks, including decompressing or further compressing zip files. Bunch of options in here. And this is the file manager which I personally prefer to use. There are some sorting options in as well. Reload, you can create a text file as well. If you just want to create a folder, you can do that. Create an empty file, you can create a text file, and then you can further edit that as well. You can create, in fact, a .doc, a doc a doc file, excel file, and then continue to edit it. So you can see that it is an advanced file manager. It's not like the usual ones. um, then Nova launches the default launcher. We get Omni Clock OSS. No, don't have the OSP clock manager. So you can enable alarms from in here, clock, timer, stopwatch. Just go to settings and check that out. You can tweak the theme, light to dark. That's your choice. Settings, default clock, default start page. Again, it's great to see the setting actually. Then you can configure the clock style, analog or digital, automatic home clock, home time zone, week starts on. Then we have got alarm, snooze lengths, allowed snooze times. So a lot of options. Variable, if you use Android Wear, then you can also use this app along with that. Full screen on, dim screen on for the alarms, timer settings, vibration, increasing volume. So yeah, a lot of settings in here. Uh, okay. Then Phonograph is the inbuilt music player. Lately we have seen this in many rooms. You know, uh, you can see that. So you can sort songs by songs, albums, artists, playlists, last added history, top tracks, and if you like the music player, then you can also support the development by donating some amount. Start page, last open, a bunch of options in here. And you can also tweak the primary colors and the accent colors of the application. Colored navigation bar, if you want to have that in there, you can see its implementation as well. Appearance, also a lot of settings in here. You can show album cover, that will enable or disable that media cover art on the lock screen. Then gapless playback, again, this option we don't see that in many music players. And then we also have an inbuilt okay, sorry, the equalizers are actually audio effects, which is also built into the room. uh, then shuffle all, sleep timer, equalizers. So sleep timers, again, these are just small things which we don't come across in many music players. I'm just talking about the stock music players. Maybe I haven't actually seen these sorts of customizations in the Apollo music player. But again, it's a great music player which we have in here. And the ROM also packs in the substratum application, and that is the stable version. So you may or may not want to enable that force authorized theme option which I mentioned in the developer options. Lastly, we'll just take a look at the wallpapers and widgets. So these are the wallpapers which we have in apps and themes. Also great collection there. Widgets, also Phonograph does have a couple of widgets for it as well. And we just wanted to check out the okay. So two things, we will take a look at the clock widget, I think. Yeah, there we go. And if you just want to create that, and actually I've seen the well recall seeing the, yeah, the signage and mod clock widget. Okay, so actually this just might be the place where you can tweak the widget after all. Enable, I'll put that to high accuracy. Weather panel. And okay, if we don't have a weather source, no, that's another option now. So you will have to go ahead and download the weather source. Okay, where did we go? Okay, now for that you will have to go ahead and maybe download some sort of Yahoo weather widget, or the Yahoo CM weather provider. I will again have a link down below in the description box for that. So once you install that weather service provider, only then you will be able to get the weather working on the lock screen. So that's an extra thing that you will have to do. But again, if you wish to see the weather on the lock screen, then you will have to go ahead and download that APK file from the description box. I will have the link down below in the description box. Don't need to worry for that. Um Okay, and apart from that, these are the quick setting tiles which are there by default, uh, and these are the ones which you can add on. So MI Explorer does have some quick setting tiles of its own as well. So definitely a lot of options: volume, panel, caffeine, substratum, a lot of options in here. Yeah, and yeah, obviously then we have got an inbuilt OTA updater for downloading the ROM, checking updates, OpenG apps. You can view the changelog and all that stuff. So yeah, I guess this pretty much sums up this video, I guess. And the settings panel, this is the Nova launcher only. So yeah, it's got a bunch of customizations. And lastly, I would like to mention a couple of things for the Redmi Note 3 users. Well, I did come across, I have been using this ROM for maybe about since last 4 or 5 hours maybe, and in that time I experienced a couple of stutters in the network signal reception, so I missed a couple of calls because of that. That wasn't too pleasing, honestly, but I did get a few call drops, and I don't know whether this is an issue with my device only, so you may or may not face this issue, but I had a couple of issues. In fact, you might have seen the network signal going completely. In fact, I didn't notice this in this review itself. If you just rewind a couple of minutes ago, then there wasn't any network signal at all until a few moments later on. So there was a network signal drop, as you would have seen in this video. If you didn't notice, rewind a couple of minutes back and you will be able to see that there wasn't no network signal at all just a few minutes back. So yeah, I think these bugs just might be addressed in the coming future. I will make sure that I uh, post a reply in the XJ thread and notify the ROM developer for the bugs which I came across, so that they can fix it. Well, yeah, I guess this pretty much sums up this video, and just an added thing, they just it is not necessary that this bug is only for the Redmi Note 3 users. It's not a ROM specific bug. It's just a general bug which we are facing a lot of bugs in the device tree lately of Nougat. We have got boot loops which I had mentioned in the starting. We haven't been, so this is not a ROM related bug at all. This is just a device related bug. So in fact, it's quite possible that the ROM maintainer might not be able to address this, since this is a bug in the device source. So maybe I will go ahead and contact the Nougat developer for our device and ask him to look into this issue, provide him with all the logs, and see what he can do. Okay, so yeah, this sums up this video. So in case you like the video, hit that like button, and in case you want to get in a notification whenever we upload our future videos, then do subscribe to us as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care, have a nice day, and we will catch you guys in the next one.